Well, g'day Vanfam and welcome back to another episode. This one's a little bit unique. We're going to do something completely different that we've not done before. So I'm going to introduce myself to everyone who's not seen me before. I'm Melissa. I am 40 and I left from Queensland back in 2021. So I've been travelling for 3.5 years. And this is?
Hi everyone, I'm Clem. I'm from Our Whittle Adventure. So we left from Perth in 2020. So it's been 4 years now. It's all a bit of a blur. So today we're going to talk about being mums on the road.
The things we like.
The things we like, the things we don't like, the things that are really hard. We're also going to talk about our kids as well, how old they are, if they're in school or not, how old they were when we left.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all the mum things you want to know, we've got all the juicy girls.
Yeah.
So when we left to travel, we left with our son Owen was 5 and our daughter Kaylee was 7. So they're old enough to buckle themselves in the seat, which was great. And now they are 8 and 10, which is crazy to believe.
And what setup are you guys in?
We are in a caravan with towing a car. So we're in a very small caravan, a 17-foot caravan, which is very, very squat.
Yeah, you do well. You do really well. They've got 2 bunks in their caravan, and with how tall their kids are, you guys do exceptionally well.
Yes, we need a bigger caravan, definitely.
That's right.
You guys travel in style, though.
Our caravan, we have a 21-foot interior New Age Road Owl, and it's pulled by our Toyota Land Cruiser 800 series.
And when you left,
That's right. So when we left, so our family's a little bit younger in terms of our kids. So our oldest son now, he is now 5, but when we left, he was only 11 months old. And since we've been on the road, we've actually had another kid. So little Heathy is 11 months old. So we stopped for a while last year to have Heath. And when we left again, he was only 5 months old. So we're going to talk about having a baby on the road and how that all works today.
But the most important thing is how we met.
Yes, how did we meet, Mel?
We met in Tassie back in January, I think 2022.
2022, that's right.
And I think I knew I was meeting you like the day before because our husband's YouTube. We don't say much YouTube.
We're YouTubers' wives.
Yes, let's get the technicality right. So we met, you only had Liam. I think he was 3. He was 3. So he loves Kaylee. Kaylee took him under her wing and they were playing, and we bonded over parenting, being YouTubers' wives, wine.
Exploring Tasmania.
Yes, and
more
books.
wine and books,
and
of
books.
Course, books, yeah.
We read a lot. Well, yes, I read a lot. And I share my reading with someone, so it's really nice.
It is really nice. So we've become friends on the road, and since we met in Tassie, we did a lot of exploring together throughout all of Tassie, and we have since met up again on the Gold Coast, and then after that, we planned everything so that we could meet up here on the Eyre Peninsula so we could spend some proper time together.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite a while, like nearly a couple of months together, which would be amazing.
It's already been over a month now. We're reluctant to leave each other.
We are. It's like, no, we'll just spend more time.
That's right. All right, we're going to get into the interview questions now. Now, this is going to be 2 different videos. So if you're interested in talking about school-age kids, or maybe you're planning a lap on the road or travelling Australia.
Or with younger kids as well.
Or with younger kids.
And dogs.
And with dogs, we have a dog as well. So depending on what you want to watch, you can watch both. But both videos will be here for your viewing.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm interviewing you?
No, camera's on you, so I'm going to interview you.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
I just have to sit here.
You have to sit here and talk, Mel.
Oh, what a shame. Awesome.
All right, so.
What would you like to know?
Well, that's the thing. So I think to start off, Mel should talk about your kids. So how old is Kaylee?
Kaylee's now 10. She was 7 when we left.
Yeah, and she's doing remote schooling.
She's doing remote schooling, and she's really tall.
She is so tall. She just grows super fast. She's growing like
almost
a whole foot
at
and a half.
the point that we've outgrown her bunk, so I think maybe I'll have to start sleeping in the bunk or
She's
something.
about as tall as Mel now.
Yeah.
And what are your plans for Kaylee, like in terms of schooling? Because she's going to start high school when
she
is that
is.
next
So
year?
She's doing remote schooling through the Cairns School of Distance Education. We really liked their education program because it's so varied. Like she's even learning a language this year, which is really exciting. So next year is her last year of primary school, which is scary.
Yeah.
And it honestly depends on what her career wants to be as to whether we keep travelling or we stop somewhere, or we really don't know. But the school goes all the way through to year 12, and obviously there's heaps of other people that are doing it as well, otherwise there wouldn't be a school open.
That's
honestly.
right.
So it's really, really a really good program, and we're really impressed with how she's going. When she struggles, they've got teachers there to help. They do tutoring sessions, so we're really impressed with what she's doing. And by grade 3, she was pretty much doing her school independently. So after the first year on the road, she was pretty much doing school by herself. We just have to check everything to make sure that she's reading everything properly and, you know, writing everything down that she's meant to. So I'm really impressed. And Owen, when we left, he did prep, but we made him do prep again because he only did like term 1 of prep and he really didn't get much out of it. So we did prep with him again. So he's in grade 2 at the moment and he's moving into grade 3 next year, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
So he's got still a long time of school ahead of him.
Yeah.
And being a boy, you know, they're not as great with participating as much as they should. He'd rather be outside building a fort or something, to be honest. So it's always a bit of struggle, but we're getting there. It's good.
And I'm just going to ask you a few questions because I know people who are watching this will want to know the answers to these questions. How many days a week of schooling do you do? Like, how do you manage the travel work, school work dynamic? Like, how does that work out for you?
Well, basically, when I had a job, I was working 3 days a week. So we would do school 3 days a week and then we would have 4 days off. But obviously, sometimes if there's classes they do want to attend, we rearrange what activities we're going to do so that they can attend those specific classes. So keep going.
No.
Something beat, we'll just keep going. So obviously if they have like a Chinese class or there's a reading class, because Kaylee's a very big reader, we're always finding books on the road. She wants to attend those classes, we'll just go do stuff in the morning so she can be back for those classes. But the great thing about the school is if they miss a class and they really want to see what happened, it's all recorded. We can go back and watch all the recordings and learn about their assessments and everything that needs to be done. So it's quite fantastic.
And the school sends you the schoolwork, don't they?
Yeah, they
send packages.
Everything's online basically, and once a term we get their reading books they need for the term, and they usually send like a book pack as well, so that kids get actual books to read.
Yeah.
So, which is always, managing postage on the road is always fun.
But it is, yeah. We'll talk about that in a little while. Okay, so the next one, did you want to talk a little bit more about Owen and what you have to do for Owen?
So Owen's, we don't really talk about this much because it's kind of a bit personal for us, but after a year of travelling on the road, Owen was diagnosed with ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and he's since been diagnosed with ODD, which is oppositional defiance disorder. So he just has to say no to everything. So we have been managing his schooling a bit differently because of this disorder. So obviously we have to manage things quite differently. We've got teachers' aides helping us. He's still doing speech therapy on the road to help with his spelling and reading because he's still struggling with that even though he's now 8. So he still can't fully read even though he's now 8, which is probably why we did prep twice with him, and it's a bit harder for him to do school, honestly, and it takes a really long time. So we'll go through, say, learning the times tables and we'll go through it, but he won't actually fully grasp the concept till the next day. So we're using everything at our disposal to help him, and we think this is the best environment for him because like we can be one-on-one, and if he was at school, I think it would be the opposite effect. He would not be learning anything at all. So we're quite lucky in that respect because he's just got a few like other issues that we're dealing with, but it's really great to see that the teachers are supporting us, helping us out, and there's so many great programs online. We have a great friends and family and resources around us to help. So. And
did you want to talk about how you've managed the paediatrician and medication? Because I know it's been a challenge.
We have had a few challenges. So Owen is on medication, and so we have a paediatrician back in Queensland that is amazing. So we're able to get a bulk supply of his medication. The only states that you can't get his medication are Tasmania and Western Australia, your favourite state. So we ended up having to like come back home to get the medication basically for him while we were over there for so long. Basically what has to happen is because of he's on a Schedule 1 drug, you have to have a paediatrician write the script. Script has to then be posted to the pharmacy that wants you want to get dispensed the medication before they'll actually dispense it. So getting that on the road, it's been a little bit of a challenge, but we have to know at least like a month in advance. We have to call up and make sure they can dispense it, they receive it. We've got to do all of that because we want to make sure that he's getting the medication that he needs. But yes, going into WA, horrible. We couldn't get it at all. Like the WA health system, I don't know.
It's very different. It's very different.
Very different.
Secular.
And we knew Tasmania, we could have got it relatively easy, but we're only going to be there for 3 months. So it was just going to a doctor. They would then contact a paediatrician for us and get a script written and confirm. So it was just that whole thing. But because he is underage as well, like we have to do certain steps for requirements of the law. Plus also because we're from Queensland, we do have to go back through Queensland every year and he has to see his paediatrician in person.
Yeah.
So telehealth doesn't always work. It works for most things, but yeah. So dealing with that on the road is quite challenging. Like he does suffer from social issues as well as a few other things because of ADHD. And we do have to manage him on the road. We've had a few comments on our YouTube of people like, what's wrong with him or what's going on?
That's not fair, yeah.
But it's just because we don't talk about it because it is hard enough for us to manage, let alone us telling like a whole audience of subscribers.
And you've got a huge audience now as well.
We do, yeah, there are quite a few. And people who've met us in person know, they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. We've got a friend with this and whatever else. So yeah, and it's only because we met someone travelling, they told us you could get medication, a bulk lot in advance, that we found out about it. So yeah, talking to lots of people about it has been good. And
I feel like you've got a bit of a support system now, like a bit of a community.
Yeah, we do. We've met quite a few travellers with kids with the same, and it's great to talk to them about it. So that's been fantastic.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on now to managing travel days and talking a bit about entertainment in the car. So first question is, how do you entertain your kids on those long travel days? How do you do it?
Well, when we first started, the kids were 5 and 7, and they had like those IKEA desk mats and drawing, colouring and whatever else. But then they get bored, obviously. Looking out the window does not interest a lot of children. So in the beginning, we were doing podcasts. We did podcast But Why, which is answering lots of science questions. And a few other like ABC podcasts we were listening to as a family. And then the kids didn't want to listen to those so much, so we moved on to audiobooks. So basically I went on eBay and bought a bunch of those old iPods, which are like $10 or whatever, and they have audiobooks from the library put on there. And then now that they're 8 and 10, we've started listening to books together as a family, which is really nice. We're currently listening to The Hobbit, which they're obsessed with.
So Kaylee also really loves to draw. So she's got this huge stash of pencils.
Oh, yes. She has many. She's got one a pencil stash in the car and a pencil stash in the van. So she'll be like, okay, who needs pictures from home? What do they like? What do they want? What's their favourite thing? What's their favourite colour? And if you've ever seen any of her artwork around the caravan, she is fantastic. She's way really better than me. So she can draw. If we're in the car for, say, 5 hours, she'll probably draw like 4 really good pictures, and then we've got to post them to people. So Owen will he used to just fall asleep when he was bored, but he'll just be listening to his audiobook or he'll be trying to draw pictures now like his sister.
So does Owen gets car sick, right?
He does on windy roads, so we've got to make sure we've got the sick bags handy. And he never gives us a lot of notice when he's got to go to the toilet. So one thing as a parent I can highly suggest for those big car trips is have a wide neck orange juice bottle.
Oh no.
Because when you have to lean back and hold a bottle while they're peeing in it because there's nowhere to stop, it's like a whole nother level of parenting.
Tassie was particularly hard for this because you're towing a caravan, windy, hilly roads, you don't get much notice.
And there's nowhere to stop. So.
So those toilet breaks are really important.
So they do amazingly in the car. They don't ask for much or want for much. They just got their drink bottles. Sometimes they get a snack or two. But yeah, they're quite good.
That's great. Yeah. And what about outside of the car? So what about just general entertainment in the van? Because you can't be doing schoolwork all the time, and obviously they're not outside all the time. They're outside a lot, but not all the time.
Yeah, like especially when the mozzies come out.
Mozzies, or it's too hot, or it's really windy.
Or there's lots of flies.
Dusty.
Owen will just smack his head a few times when he's trying to get the flies away because he can't handle it. But
as entertaining as that is.
It's not the greatest. So inside the van, they each have their bunk with a tiny cupboard, and Kaylee always has a stash of books, and they've got toys they play with. Owen does do a lot of Lego. So he's got one small bag of Lego and he can create like 50 things out of it.
That's great.
Their favourite thing to build at the moment is building fly traps to, when they hit the flies, catch them and then put them in there.
They call them walks, and they've built a fly hotel out of Lego, which is full of
dead walks.
Semi-dead flies. It's not great, but
great.
it's keeping them entertained.
Keeping them entertained.
Yeah.
And then we do a lot of card games. They're at that age now where we do Monopoly Deal is our favourite. We've learned a game called Trash, Rat-a-tat-cat and Skip-Bo, and lots of other games. We have Triominoes and Rummy Cub. So they're very into the game. So sometimes we'll be doing games for hours, and then usually it's by that time, Mum's tired, or Mum needs a break.
Dad needs a break.
And it's iPad time till dinner.
So they've both got devices.
They've both got, like the tablet things that are really good. So, I mean, it's great because they need a break as well from us.
Yeah.
I definitely
You live in a caravan. Your
Yeah.
home is only small.
Yeah, we live in a tiny box.
Yeah.
Mum wants to read her book because we got to a really good park.
Mum
Can you
needs
please
a
go
break.
on your device?
All right, so let's get into some of the juicy things.
Juicy things.
So what
are we talking about?
We'll talk about that later, Mel. Maybe later over some wine. Okay, so what would you say is the best thing about being a travelling family?
What I really think is I wish we'd done it earlier when they were smaller, to be honest. Maybe.
And then I have something completely different to say about that.
So it's been really great being together all the time. Like I feel like I'm getting to instill all these core memories in them of us being together and things that they can do. Like out here they've built like a huge cubby house, or going down the sand dunes, or watching Mum slide down the sand dunes and get crushed by a wave. Like all these fun things that we're doing together and seeing together. And even just all the wildlife we've been able to see. We're a very, very big wildlife heavy family, so we love being out and seeing the animals and things. So that's really cool. We do miss home, obviously, but I think the one great thing about it is we're together all the time. We're making all these decisions together, and we like being together, which is really nice.
Yeah. You guys do it really well too. So Kaylee and Owen are really good at hiking.
Yes.
And Tassie really proved that. They didn't balk at a hike that was 14 kilometres.
No.
They just did it, and it was seriously impressive.
Yeah, they were dragging me up. Mum, you can do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, can I?
So they're at a great age where you can go out and do all that exploring together.
Yeah.
The really physical elements of this lifestyle aren't a problem.
No, that's right.
You just jump in and you go and do it. It's really great to see.
Yeah, so I'm really glad that we get to do this while they're so young. And they were, I think Kaylee was 9 and Owen was 7, and they had been to every state in Australia. I mean, I was like 35 before that happened. So I was like so jealous. I hope they realise how lucky they are.
Maybe they will later on. Maybe they will. All right, so you've talked about the best thing. Now we're going to talk about the worst thing about travel days as a mum. As a mum.
I feel like I have to get up early for once.
No hurkle-durkling.
No hurkle-durkling from me. And I feel like it's just such an organisation. The kids are good, they help, but you always have to double check what they do. Organising, okay, where we're going to get water, do we have to empty the toilet, have we packed the lunches, just doing the washing as well. Like now they're at an age where they can scrub all the stains out of their own clothes, so we're teaching them how to do that, which they don't really like. So washing takes quite a long time. But I find that like getting to and from a place, if it's quite far, just the longness in the car when the kids get out, they are a bit ratty, they are a bit crazy. And I find it exhausting because I'm done by the end of the trip. And they're not. They're like on cloud 9, just running around being crazy. But yeah, especially because we still do the washing by hand. So just doing all of that, making sure that they have enough clothes.
Yeah.
That you've got everything in the car. You'll understand this. Are the drink bottles full? Is the snack bag full? Do they have a jumper if they're cold? Have they put sunscreen on? Where's their hat?
So is it more about having to think about everything at once?
Yeah, everything at once. And
it's all the organising.
Knowing where everything is. Load. And not just for them, for my husband as well. Because he'll be like, do you know where my wallet is? Do you know where this is? Do you know where that is? And I'm like, ladies will understand.
You've actually got 3 kids now.
You've got 3 kids. Yeah. So it's just having to be so organised, and there's only so much you can prep the night before. So I find that exhausting.
Yeah.
But it's good when you go somewhere new.
All right, so now we're going to talk about a bit about van life and your family dynamic. How do you split your van duties? How does it work between you and Brett? What do you each normally do and don't do?
Well, we do take turns emptying the toilet. That's a big one. And somehow Brett always gets the most disgusting one when there's no water hose at the dump point, which is great.
Mel plans ahead.
I plan ahead. That's half my planning. So basically, Brett does everything on the outside. So he'll like hitch up, put the legs down, do the water connections, all that kind of stuff. And I'll do the inside stuff. So making sure everything's taken off all the cupboards are shut, everything's secured inside. And that kind of goes for how we each have our own things that we do. So I don't cook, although I'm learning very, very slowly. Brett does all the cooking, he does all the shopping, he plans all the meals. I just make sure I can fit it everywhere. That's kind of my job.
I feel like you're the queen of organising the interior of your caravan.
Yeah, I know where everything is. I'll be like, okay, we need to find this. It's in the third drawer of this shelf. Like, I can tell you exactly where everything is in our caravan because it's so small. I know exactly where to hide all the Christmas presents because where no one will look. So that's kind of how we split our life as well. So I do all the managing of the admin, organising everything for the children, the schooling. He'll help with the schooling and do half the schooling with the kids, but we kind of just split everything because it's just much easier for us because I'm no good at cooking. He doesn't like it when I cook or plan a meal or I fail at it, as I guess you guys have seen in many episodes. I try and plan something and it just goes a bit awry.
It's always entertaining.
So we plan everything. I do all the organising. I'm the passenger princess, but I do drive the van. I do drive the car. I hitched up the other day all by myself.
I witnessed.
Yes, I hitched up the van all by myself and loaded it all up when Brett was sick. So I can do everything. It's just easier if he does everything outside because he's much faster at it. He knows what to look for as well with regards to if there's anything wrong underneath the van. I don't exactly know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I can, reattach a command hook, but that's about it.
That's fair, yes. All right, so important question, Mel.
No, you're going to make me blush.
No, I'm not sure if we should talk about that. I don't think we're going to have time in this video. But how do you feel about vlogging?
No, really?
Really?
Knowing that my husband's...
Knowing that he's over there listening and we'll review this video later. How do you feel about vlogging, really?
Sometimes it's annoying when I find the drone to be my most pet peeve because sometimes he'll want to drone a certain area and there's like cars behind me and I get stressed out about that, or there's nowhere to pull over.
Is that because you're driving while he drones?
Yeah, it's because I'm driving, but it's more the fact that you've got to be wary of other people on the road. Like if he wants me to slow down, it's like, well, there's like 5 cars behind me.
And when you're driving, when the drone's up in the air, you can only go, say, tops of maybe 60 k's an hour. So you've really got to pick your timing. If it's a busy road, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. I've gotten used to just vlogging wherever now. It doesn't seem to bother me. But some days I'm just like, I don't want to. I want to just sleep in all day.
Well, especially if you wake up in the morning and there's a camera like right in your face.
Yeah, and I'm always asleep or in my pajamas still, which is, he never lets me get dressed.
So
it's 50-50. I mean, it's great because we have this record and the kids love going back and watching all the old episodes. I don't. Because I'm like, oh, so cringy. But it is good most of the time, and Brett wants me to start editing the videos, but it's not my thing. So I'm just happy to participate and be in them. Preferably dressed more. Not in my pajamas.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay. All right, now we did talk about this one earlier, a little bit about working on the road. So maybe go into what you do and then what Brett does and how that sort of works out.
So as you mentioned before, the kids do school probably 3 days a week. So during that time I used to work. I did lose my job a couple of months ago. So I'm currently...
That'll come in more detail in another video, I think. Yeah.
So I'm currently unemployed, so our roles have kind of changed. So I'm doing more of the schooling and Brett does the editing on those days. And now we have our own business. Oh, I forgot about that. We're Sveto's Way. Yeah, our visitors. We're Sveto's Way. So when he has jobs, I'm just at home with the kids, or we all go and help depending on if we're taking the van. So just everything we do now, we just have to take it as it comes. We don't really plan that much, which is kind of good. Yeah. I like being unplanned.
Yeah. Unplanned with good communication. You guys seem to work it out really well.
Most of the time. Well, I'm not going to say we never fight. Because that definitely happens, but we just manage as to how we go, and sometimes Kayla will even go to work with Brett and she'll put out the cones and talk to the people. If there's a dog that's there, she'll just walk it around the van like 20 times or something. So it just depends on what the job is and who it is, and if they're fans or not, if they want to come meet us, and we just wing it pretty much.
You make it work.
Make it work somehow. As well as way. There's 7 days in a week, guys. You can make anything happen.
That's true. Now, we'll get into postage. So how do you manage posting on the road? Because it can be really challenging when you're traveling Australia and you're moving around all the time to get things posted to you. And also, while we're on that, how do you manage the family wanting to send you things all the time? Because obviously we live in caravans,
Weight is an issue.
Weight's an issue, and there's only so many places you can put new things. So how do you
Yes.
manage postage and managing the influx of things?
Postage is a fun one. I think I'm pretty good at it now.
Yeah.
I haven't had to get a package redirected in at least 12 months.
Well, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
So through the Oz Post app, you can register a parcel collect address, and usually we know where we're heading. So if we're heading to one place to another, we'll be like, oh, we're there in 2 weeks, we'll get it posted now. Or the other option I have, which we're very lucky with, my parents, hi Mum and Dad, they have a house back in Queensland, and if there's nothing we need urgently, we usually get stuff posted to them, and then they'll send us a care box with cookies in it. So
it works out.
It works out really well because we like the cookies. And they've been keeping Brett in Murray River Salt for like 3 years now, so that's nice. But presents on the road as well, that's another really good point. Because when we first started travelling, a lot of people didn't understand. Like, we live in a small box. Oh, you can fit that, you can fit that. And the first year on the road, the kids had so many toys, and they had like their little cupboard and a box at the end of their bunk. It was just too much. Especially the way Kaylee grew, because she couldn't have the box anymore. So basically, we culled it back. The kids got rid of a lot of their toys in the first year. Another great idea that we have is my mum buys the kids new sheets every year, because we definitely don't wash them as much as we should.
Well, it's hard when you're using, a
scrubber bag.
A scrubber bag, and then you also sometimes need to wait until you're somewhere with a washing machine.
Yeah, that's right.
Or water. Water can be a huge
Water
challenge.
can be a huge thing as well. So that's great, because the kids can be like, oh, I'd love some, I don't know, blue dinosaur sheets, or I would like some Harry Potter sheets, or I want green ones, or this year we've got white dinosaur sheets, which aren't great, but Owen loved them, so that's what Nana got. And Kaylee's in like green bamboo sheets. I think Mum said she's going to have to go back to work to get to keep her in bamboo sheets.
Yeah.
And presents, obviously picking small, compact, easy things. Card games are a great one for us.
Yeah.
And anything that's small and unique, and like only one of, like, they both don't need the same
toys,
thing.
Collectibles, Lego, little Lego packages.
Yeah, the little poly bags of Lego, they're fantastic, because then they can make like a little car and then destroy it into something else. So we kind of just manage it how we go. Honestly, when the kids get given money, they buy a toy that they would really like. And it's usually something that's disposable as well. Yeah. But there's also like outside toys you've got to think of as well. Like we have frisbees, foam planes, they've each got helmets and scooters. So things like that. And the most popular item which you've gone through the most on the road is a bug catcher. Probably gone through like 12 in 3 years.
Uh-oh.
So, because the kids love to catch bugs.
Sorry, the kids are just playing in the trees.
Owen looks like he's caned himself. So yeah.
He's okay. He's walking
He's all right. He's walking it off.
Yeah.
So yeah, bug catchers are a big one, because they could be outside for hours catching butterflies.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. And just like letting your family know about the expectation. You realise you want to give them something, but can you give them something they need? Like, okay, pencils for in the car, like a ream of paper, some colouring books, whatever they're into, try and get your family to help. Like hats.
Yeah.
The kids had these propeller spinning hats. And you know, they kept breaking them, or they lost them one day. So it's like, well, they desperately need a hat for sun safety. So some stuff like that you can actually use is really great.
Yeah. Okay, so last question. Is there anything that you miss about house life?
I miss having 2 toilets.
Gosh, yes.
If you've seen our van, it's tiny, I mean. But also babysitting. I miss, obviously for the kids, miss that connection with their family and their cousins, and just being able to have a break from them without like just them being looked after, and you and your husband can go do something, or not having to tag team with that as well, and having a locked door.
On the bathroom? Or in the bedroom?
In the bedroom.
In the bedroom, got it.
So, yes, I think we're going to put up a curtain in our caravan for that reason shortly, because the children are getting older and they're waking up way earlier than me, and they're seeing things maybe they shouldn't. So I just miss those certain things.
A little bit of extra privacy.
A little bit extra privacy, you know, just for your husband and wife time, or just being together as a couple, because the kids are just there. There's no lockable door to let them go. So a bit of a bummer about those things. But in comparison, it doesn't really outweigh anything that you're doing. I think I'd rather be doing this and just deal with those. Deal with those.
Okay, cool. That's all the questions. Did you want to talk about anything else?
No, I think we've covered pretty much everything that we discuss all the time.
27 minutes of just talking interview, so I think that's probably longer.
That's probably good. All right. What do you do? Cheers?
Cheers.
Cheers. I feel like that was a successful general video about how travelling Australia as a mum is different to travelling Australia as a man.
If you've got any questions that we haven't covered, and I'm sure there's tons, just message us through our YouTube channels, or we're both on Facebook and we're both on Instagram as well.
Yep.
Feel free to ask anything that you think
or you want
need
further
to know.
clarification on. We're happy to answer. Maybe we'll answer all the comments for a change.
Yeah. It's probably not going to happen, but we'll try.
We'll try.
Yes.
You think there's going to be a lot more time in the day to learn or to do things or to relax more, but it is busy a lot of the time.
Yeah, we make the most of it. I mean, between doing general life things, being parents, and spending time with the kids and exploring, which is a huge thing that we do.
Huge thing, and spending time with your partner, and then trying to have your own time.
Yeah, it's a busy life. Yeah.
I know I wanted to learn to do all these cool hairstyles and stuff. It took me a year to learn how to braid, so I just haven't bothered trying any new hobbies. Yeah. My goal this year is to read 100 books, and I've got 14 left to read. So I mean, but that's even taken a lot of dedication.
Yes, she's doing really well.
And the amount of books I'm like, Clem, you need to read this one. You're like, Mel, I need to sleep too.
Yes, she's been very helpful in keeping me in books this year. It's been great. All right, so we hope that you've really enjoyed our videos. Please feel free to
message us. Oh, don't forget to
like and subscribe
and comment.
Yes.
And we'll see you on the next episode or adventure, guys.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See ya.